welcome to All My Art and Soul. I'm Michele Holden, and today's video is of Earth and Sky number 18. I can't believe we're already there. As you can see, I have a selection of collage papers. Some are from books, the one I'm showing you there, but I don't end up using it. But I chose black and white just because, as you can see, there's already some marks here. Last week when I left, I finished up number 17, I had some extra paint, and I'm showing you some more materials and stamps and other papers that I made, as you can see with the brayer. And I had lots of black left, and I just needed, for some crazy reason, to just put some marks on there, which I've done before in my positive affirmation journal pages. I would do 2 or 3 and let them dry. And those are great big canvas needles that I use to scrape, and they're very dull, very thick. So I made 3 strokes with the brayer, with the black. And as you can see, there's a yellow and a red mark on the upper left-hand corner in a diagonal direction. Those were total accidents. It was just one of those clumsy days, as I probably mentioned in the video. So I forgot my scissors, so I had to go grab them. So now I have them. And this paper is again the newsprint paper, which I used my jelly plate printer with black and then made marks with the catalyst wedge with the teeth. There's different ones that you can purchase, and I really love those tools. So this is we call it a cruciform composition or armature. And I notice I do that a lot. So as you can see, as I held the dotted paper, it really looked good in any of the corners, but for some reason that's just not what I was going for. So I love mixing the Titan Buff and the yellow oxide, and just, of course, getting rid of the brush strokes using the brayer. And then I piggybacked on this diagonal orange. And I was just thinking, wow, what a great difference from horizontal, vertical, and just to, accidents are amazing. So then I'm rolling it in the same direction. So not a lot of change will happen, but it'll flatten it out, make it thinner and easier, quicker to dry. So here's that dotted paper that I've made and showed you in my homemade collage paper video. You need to check that out if you have not, and I really should put it in the description. It will be there. And so I'm just choosing. I really love how that just ended up on that edge. It found its own place, and I think that's the magic, the surprises that happen in this particular art process, mixed media collage. So then I'm just folding it right on the edge, so I won't have any paper overlapping. And then when it's time to remove the tape, it's much easier. And of course I cut it a little too narrow because it does not look right if there's a gap. So then, and then I changed my mind. Okay, so I'll set it to the side along with the dotted paper, which is above, and then I'm just searching for something else. In my mind, I think what I'm doing is trying to just stay away from the same old. I'm trying to do something different. So there is a little bit more intention in this particular abstract art journal page. So I'm still learning my new Posca markers, how to use them, and of course I haven't loaded this one yet, so bear with me. And I'm really liking the opacity of these markers when you put them down. These are the medium size. I know you can get them in giant sizes and everything, so that's coming in the future. And what I've discovered as well with layering is that you can play things going in and out of each other. Say, for instance, the orange streak, and I put that ochre past it on top. Well, you can make it go in behind and then go on top of the black below. You can cause a weaving kind of layering effect with your marks or areas of color, which is really cool. So I just decided I wanted to keep it simple, very simple, with the horizontal lines and the open circle shapes going across the top. And then I just wanted a touch of the teal, which is the golden. This is the heavy acrylic in the tube. And maybe one would have been okay, but I did two. And then it was just a little too powerful, the hue. So I just add a little white to tint it up, take down the power, and then, so then I'm going around. Then I decide, no, I don't want that. So I just make this very thick horizontal area, which you'll see what I do with it. I overlap the turquoise onto the black and then the ochre onto the turquoise. I find there's always or usually elements of water or some kind of symbol of water in my work. I can't seem to get away from that. So I decide in the end here with the dots to keep with the cruciform, and I'm moving that up so you can see that better, and giving it some weight on the bottom as well. And then, of course, by accident, I get blue all over it. Well, you know what? It's sort of cool. And it's doing that same thing, overlapping, using your paint over your collage pieces, I think makes them more part of the piece. And yes, this orange is made again from the Jelly Plate printer. Just rolling some really gorgeous colors on there and lying the newsprint page right on top and then lifting it. And in my mind, I was thinking, I really want to use the negative space for this circle. Yeah, and I tested it. I go, nah, it just doesn't do it. So the open shape with the circle in the square, to me, works much better. And what I'm thinking of, and I forget the other artist's name, she liked using diagonal, like sword-shaped marks or lines entering into spherical shapes. And, take that as, I was thinking, who knows what I was thinking. I don't want to say too much about it because I want to leave this open for you to interpret, for the viewer. So I decided, okay, we need a little color, and it's very light up top. So that changes as we get going. So stay to the end of the video so you can check it out. And this is what I mentioned. So overlapping the colors, which is sort of cool. This brush makes really cool oval, like little blimps, leaf shapes. And this is, every time I want to go and mention the name of this paper, I always forget it during the video. It's the one that you cook with. Anyway, it's okay. It has a little waxiness on it. So I'm in the middle of ordering some really much better, supposedly, paper that doesn't have the wax, so the paint sticks to it better. That does end up there in the end. I really changed my mind a lot in this, on this particular page. So there's that nice neutral which is heavy drawing paper dyed with coffee in a vat. It sits there for no longer than half an hour, or else it'll get too soggy. And you unfold it, and it's amazing what happens. And then there's the dots, so different from the wavy lines below, and then a neutral above. So my cruciform armature is developing. So why I chose yellow is that it's close to the yellow that's already there, but it's a cool. So, and it'll bring the eye, just add that little texture. So I was looking for subtlety. And again, if you go for too much dynamic contrasts in color, they'll all compete with each other and nothing will stand out. So you wanna pick one. And I don't know if I think that thoroughly during these sessions of art journal pages. It's a bit different. I just like pick stuff and just go. I really like not thinking, more reacting, and using my experiences there, like in your subconscious. And that's why this is referred to as an intuitive process. It's there, but it's a feeling. It's I call it. That's why I call it all my art and soul. Art is the journey of the heart to the soul. It's you're using your intuition. It's heartfelt, using your heart brain. I could get into all of that, but I'll save that for another video. So, dots, little tiny ones, black. I sort of put them all over the place, so I don't know if that's a good idea, but they end up getting covered anyway. So as you can see, I'm continuing that orange streak. So it goes over the yellow, under the blue, and then over the black. And so it's a little too, I'm bringing out more of an orange, sort of melding in that energy or fiery spirit or whatever you want to, however you refer to this mark. And as you can see, I'm just sort of pausing, thinking, okay, what am I going to do next? I think this is where I'm thinking about the top. Oh, no, I'm not. There's that piece. And it's so nice and transparent. So I'm looking for a spot where something underneath will really show up. So you can still see it. And it does end up in that last area, but I get to that in a few minutes. So I started with the black permanent marker, filling in the edges because those were like flashlights, those were sticking out. And then I realized, you know what? I should probably end up painting that black. So I get some black out in a few minutes. I'm sort of ahead of my video this time. It's sort of funny. I'm liking what's going on. So there's a lot of texture down there. And then, here we go. I love my little tiny dots going around the circle. Like this is a thing I do all the time. Well, maybe not all the time. I do it a lot. So you'll find your marks too that really speak to you, your authentic self, and you'll use them throughout your work, and that'll just add to your voice. Oh, love the golden metallic acrylic ink. And all I wanted, it's just a little dot in there. I've had these for a long time. They do last. As you can see, the lid's taped. I don't know if it just cracked or I probably over twisted it, something like that. So I'm just trying to keep the air out so it lasts. It seems to be working. And I forget what brand that is, but man, adds a pop to your work. Oh, here comes the black. So I decide that I need some solid tones. So I start painting the top, and I'm deciding, okay, do I leave that there? Do I go around each piece, or do I just cover them all and say, just go for it? Okay, that's where I came with that decision. And then you'll see something happen. I thought, well, what if I roll it with the brayer? Will it lift? See, that's another thing. A brayer can lift paint off, and so you start seeing what's underneath. And I liked the effect, so I just kept going, just to lift some more off. And to help that, I just scraped the black away. It's absorbing into the paper, so sometimes you have to do that quite quickly. And then I did that, so now there's a lot of contrast going on, and now there's too much going on. So I decided, okay, let's just go darker on this sort of not so dark. And it seems to work fine. And then, of course, using the finger just to fill in, just needed a little more solid background, which definitely brings up the contrast. And then I decide to go over that orange, which is sort of neat. Who knows? And then I'm going to get that teal again. Okay, so I notice now that, there's that piece, finally. All right. And that just a nice subtle, transparent, or semi-transparent, you would say. And that piece is done as well on the jelly printer with lying string down on top of it. And you can get some really cool lines. Here comes this really bright stuff, but then I realize, wow, that'll just overpower the whole thing. So I just put that to the side and continue to think of something else. Yes, so that was that piece with all the numbers, and of course the primary teal, yellow, and red rolled on there. So I just cut out a section, 1, 2, 3. I use a lot of numbers in my work. Numbers, letters, different symbols. They all have particular meaning, but those are things that we're inundated with daily time. There's so many things you can relate to those. Yes, and then I figured, let's bring in some black horizontal lines and weave those in and around those shapes. And I'm really liking the contrast, so I decide, no, let's go over that mark and then add those. They're just dash marks, I guess. I use these a lot as well. And I notice the markers do need a little bit of time to dry, just so you don't smudge anything. And it's starting to come together. This piece is very, so I am done. But yet I'm not. So there's a little add-on at the end here. And I'm back to using this nice green thick tape, which, as you can see, doesn't give me a hard time. And I read the label, and it's sort of like, it says multi-purpose, but it's not very sticky. And that's why it comes off so nicely, but still protects. So what's going through my mind right now is the middle yellow section with the black dashed lines on it. It just needs more of an edge. It's just too open. And of course I'm signing it in the bottom. And sometimes I'll go, and I'll notice a few things and I'll just add those last details onto the end. I keep thinking I'm done as my hands at the side, like the ta-da. And then I change my mind again and go, yes. And I'm so glad I did this. Look at the difference. Coming right up to that roughed edge. And it again is yet a different thickness than the black, than the turquoise, and of course the yellow, the open. So that's why it works. At least I think. And here's those sort of the turquoise overlapping into the black. I really like that. And notice I didn't want to interfere in that nice neutral piece. Sticking to a more horizontal feel. Really love this. Yeah, going up into the yellow. Very nice. So just straightening out those lines, making them, those areas more even. And this is Of Earth and Sky number 18. And I'm just going to add one more bright color to the bottom. And I do end up taking a tiny, tiny piece out of that super bright yellow and orange handmade collage paper and put it down. But what's bothering me is that it needed, in my mind, to be closer to the orange above. So it's just a little too much red. So I should have put a little more of the yellow ochre or that yellow oxide in. But here we are. And I hope you enjoyed this one. I really like the effects this time. And I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.